Today, we're going to talk about the housing crisis, but from a totally different angle. What if the problem isn't just a lack of buildings? What if it's about a lack of action? Let's dig into what happens when we stop seeing housing as a thing and start treating it like something we do. You see a picture like this, and it looks calm, right? But for millions of people, this is the perfect metaphor for their reality. The security we think a house provides is, well, often just an illusion. To really understand what's going on, we have to listen to the folks who are living this every single day. First, just take in this story. It's from a veteran. This is someone who did everything right, served their country, saved their money. But when it came time to find a home, the community they wanted to be a part of was just financially impossible. So they were pushed an hour away from their family, their only support system. And then there's this, an 84-year-old woman. She should be enjoying her retirement, feeling secure. But instead, on a fixed income with no affordable options, she ended up living in her car. You just have to ask, how did the system that's supposed to protect our elders fail so completely? And it's hitting the next generation too. Think about it, young people graduating from college, excited to start their careers, maybe in the towns they grew up in. But they're finding the door is slammed shut. They're priced out, and they're forced to move back home, not because they want to, but because they have absolutely no other choice. These stories are absolutely heartbreaking, and the thing is, they're not just isolated incidents. They are the human faces of a massive crisis, one that's affecting people of every age, every income level, and every background you can imagine. I mean, the list of who's being affected is just staggering. It's our returning veterans, our seniors, and young grads just trying to get started. It's working families where both parents have jobs, sometimes multiple jobs. It's even our first responders, people with disabilities, single parents, you name it. So when you see so many people from so many different walks of life all struggling with the exact same problem, you start to have a critical realization. The issue can't just be about a lack of physical houses. It's got to be a fundamental breakdown of the entire system that's supposed to keep us all securely housed. And this leads to a pretty radical but simple idea. What if our entire perspective is just wrong? What if the very word we use, housing, is pointing us in the completely wrong direction? This brings us to a whole new way of looking at this, a really powerful idea. Instead of seeing housing as a static thing, an object, what if we started treating it as an ongoing action? This one idea changes everything. To house someone, that isn't just giving them a set of keys, it's a continuous process. It's about planning for people's needs, building new things responsibly, maintaining what we already have, and actively supporting everyone in the community. Suddenly, it becomes a shared responsibility. And here's the shift laid out really clearly. The old way, housing as a noun, treats homes like a product, right? A commodity to be bought and sold. But the new way, housing as a verb, reframes it as a community process. It's a shared civic duty that we all have a part in. Now, this is not just some philosophical idea. Some communities are already putting this verb into practice. They are actively housing their residents through really thoughtful policy. For example, take a recent law in Connecticut. It requires towns to actually plan for housing growth. It gets rid of outdated rules that make building harder than it needs to be. It strengthens protections for tenants. And it encourages development that serves people at all income levels. Every single one of those is an action. It's a verb. And what's so important to understand here is that a law like this isn't really about concrete and lumber. It's about a community taking collective responsibility for how its people live and grow and thrive. It's a commitment to a better future. So this brings us to the core takeaway from this whole explainer. This shift from noun to verb isn't just for lawmakers, it's a new lens for all of us to look through when we think about our own communities. Just think for a second about the huge difference between these two statements. Communities have housing. That's passive, right? It just describes a thing that exists. But then, communities house people. That is active. It implies a duty, a purpose, a continuous commitment to the well-being of everyone who lives there. And so, we're going to leave you with this question. Look around your own town, your own city. Is housing just a noun there, a collection of buildings and real estate listings? Or is it a verb, an active, ongoing commitment to make sure everyone, from the new graduate to the retiree, has a place to truly call home? The answer changes everything.